Hello everyone! Today we are making a stunner of a card. This card is so gorgeous. We're going to use some brand new dies for this one. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But inside there is a little pocket for you to stick a little seed pouch or any other little, you can put a gift card in there, you can put a little note in there. It's such an adorable card. It is so gorgeous on the front, and then there's a little surprise inside. And you can absolutely stick this one in the mail. You might need a little bit of extra postage. We're going to be making some pretty gorgeous flowers, and they stick up just a little bit, but you can absolutely mail this one. So let's get started. Now we're doing a completely different color scheme for the one we're making today. This one features Berry Burst, Lemon Lime Twist, Granny Apple Green, Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral, with some scatterings of Lemon Lolly and Daffodil Delight. So a really fun bright color combo on this one. Our next card, we are going to do some more purples rather than like the pinks and the oranges. So I'm going with purples because these are the seeds that I have for this one. And this one, I went with the colors I went with because I wanted them to coordinate with the colors of the flowers on the inside of those seeds. So I'm kind of making these just to coordinate with the little specific seed packets, and I will hand these out to some friends. So this is the one we're making today. I think these are so pretty. I actually bought them specifically because of their colors. So this is one we're making today. We're going to use some fresh Freesia for this. So this is our card base. So let's go ahead and do our card base first. So let me set some of these aside. I have a fresh Freesia card base. It is your standard 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Our DSP that's going on the front is actually from the Zany Zoo DSP or the Zoo Crew DSP. So you have all the fun animals on the back, but on the other side there's these gorgeous just black and white patterns. And so that's what we are using today. So I'm going to just put this down with a little bit of Stampin' Seal. I happen to have Stampin' Seal Plus on hand, but you can use whatever you use. And so this is just going to go right on the front. This can be our basics for our card here. All right, now I do need to measure these. So I have a square that my fresh Freesia square is 2 3/4 square, and then this one would be 2.5 square. Yeah, 2.5 square. This is the Bright and Beautiful DSP, so lots of fun colors in here. The one I used for this card is from the Brights DSP. So use what you have that's going to coordinate with your flowers. So this is just what I had for fresh Freesia, so this is what we're going to use. Now we're going to cut this in half diagonally to make our little pocket. So if you make this card, you might as well make a couple of them because you're going to be cutting this in half for a couple of them. So we're going to start with our fresh Freesia piece, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then we're just going to line up from point to point in the cutting track, and we're just going to cut that in half. So you have two. We're going to need one. So set the other one aside. You can use it for scraps or whatever. Now, if you have a directional pattern for your DSP, you're going to need to make note of that before you trim it because you want to make sure that it stays in that directional pattern when we adhere it down. I specifically went with ones that did not have a directional pattern, so we don't need to worry about keeping that directional pattern. So if you have a DSP that does have a direction, just make sure that you are aware of that. All right, so these are cut in half. So we're going to adhere these together. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. When I adhere triangles, I like to use the liquid glue because it gets it right up into the corners. All right, I'm just doing a quick check on the other one. I just wanted to see if I left a border or if I put one up against the edge, but it looks like I left a thin little border around all the edges. So you're just going to adhere it together. Now we're going to adhere this to the inside of our card, and you are only going to apply glue to the right angle of the triangle to this side. I just used a really thin bead of the liquid glue. If you use Stampin' Seal or Tear & Tape, just make sure that you keep it really close to the edge so that you have room for your seed packet to stick inside. So we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Once it dries, we'll have our little pocket. We didn't put any glue on this edge, so once it dries, we'll have our little pocket for the inside of our card. All right, let's go ahead and set this aside for now. And we'll come back to that once it's completely dry, but let's talk about our flowers. So I am using our brand new, these are the paper Florist Dies. These are one of the very first things I had to have from the brand new annual catalog. You can see there are so many of them. And it's just so gorgeous once you get all of these dies together. All right. let me show you some of the flowers that we're going to make. So, oh, let me keep those dies out because I want to show you which dies did what. So I'm going to open this up. So for my card, I used this one right here. It has all the little X's, and we are going to make one of these. I've already made another one. I was looking for it. I can't find it. Here it is. So this is what we're going to make. So I made this one in Fresh Freesia, and so we're going to assemble this one, which is in Highland Heather. So lots of beautiful purple shades. I like to use my bone folder and very gently just kind of give those petals a little curl up, just like that. So be very careful when you're doing this because you don't want to pull off a petal. I have done that before, not with these dies, but with other flower punches. So when you are giving them a little bit more dimension, you can see they're kind of cupped. When you are giving them just a tiny bit more dimension, just be very careful because you don't want to rip them. Now I'm going to use my, let me try to find my, here it is, my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to kind of pick up some of these pieces, but I'm also going to use my liquid glue to adhere these together. You can use glue dots if you want. You can even stick these on with adhesive sheets. But if you do that, the backs of the entire piece will be sticky with the adhesive sheet. And really, we just want it sticky in the middle. So I layered up those two larger ones, just kind of alternated there. And then we're going to come up here with the smaller ones. We're going to layer one up, layer another one up. Now, if you don't like liquid glue, you might want to go to glue dots. Glue dots will be your friends here. And it's a little less messy and you don't have to wait for drying time with a glue dot. So that helps. Now, once we get to these smaller pieces, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool and I'm just going to pick it up and set it down. All right, and we have the tiniest little center. So I'm just going to do a tiny dot of glue here and we're going to stick that on that gorgeous grape center. So these little, for the flower centers, pull back out the dies. So I use this one. This one will cut 4 of them at once. And then for that Daffodil Delight piece, I used this one. Okay. There are so many flowers in here. I have not even created with all of them. I've just used a few of the dies. All right. So we have a Highland Heather flower. We have a Fresh Freesia flower. Those were done with the same die. Let's move on to our little tulip. So for this one, you're going to need these dies. So this is the little stem and these are the little tulip buds. So I did that with Garden Green and with Gorgeous Grape. So I'm just going to put a little dot of glue on the bottom of the little tulip bud. And I've already attached 2 of these on here. So we're just going to do the middle one. And you're just going to line up that little bud. Just like that. So fun, right? All right. That one's easy. That one's quick and easy. All right. Let's move on to this one. So we have the same little flower centers. Gorgeous Grape and Daffodil Delight. Now for this flower, I used this die. And I love that the dies are all connected. So it's going to cut all the pieces you need for one flower with one die, one pass. So I love that about these dies. So I love this little flower. It cuts kind of a funky little shaped flower, but I really like this one. So again, I'm going to go through and just gently, gently curl those up. Like that. Now on the bottom one, I'm going to add a little dot of glue and then I'm just going to layer on the top one. I'm not trying to line these up or anything. They're not really going to be designed to line up. But I just want to stack them on top of each other to give a little bit of dimension. All right. Our little flower center will go on. We'll stick that on. And for these, you can use your bone folder. I just kind of twirl up those little edges there. And I should have used my Take Your Pick tool for this one. All right. My fingers are starting to get sticky, so things are going to start sticking. All right. All right, just a little tiny dot of glue for that little flower center. Gorgeous Grape. And this flower is all done too, which I just love. Just going to kind of separate some of those petals. So pretty. It's so delicate. I really love that one. Let's pull all these in that we've done. All right, our final flower, this one I think is my favorite. I love this one. So we're going to use this one. So I use this one for the flowers. This one is in Gorgeous Grape. And then I also use this little kind of starburst one. That's in Fresh Freesia. And then I used this one for the center for the white. That's the smaller one. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our bone folder. And we're going to curl up these petals just a little bit. Be very careful. You don't want to pull off a petal. You can always glue them all back down. The centers are all really being covered up. So if you do happen to pull off a petal, you can always just glue it down and then use the center of the flowers to cover it up. Okay, one more, and then we're gonna stack this one up. So adhering these flowers is very simple. Really, we're just stacking them all up. So a little here, and we're gonna kind of rotate those petals. We're gonna do a little here. If you wanted to add more dimension, you could add dimensionals between the layers. Glue dots will give you a little bit of lift. If you were making this for a 3D project, if you were putting these on a wreath or something, I would even use a glue gun to hold all of these together. So, where did my white piece go? There it is. So it's really a preference on how you want to assemble these. And then again, for these, I'm just going to kind of use my fingers and curl up those little edge pieces. But there are so many ways to assemble these flowers. And once you really start assembling them, you won't stop. They'll go, you can do that for a while. Okay, so we're going to put this one in the center there. Whoops, my finger pictool just flew right off. All right, so we have all of our flower pieces all assembled. We're all put aside, so we are ready to go. Now also I have die cut 5 of these leaves, and I use this die for them. And there's lots of different leaf options in these, so use what you love out of these dies. So I'm gonna move these aside for a minute. I can't wait to use more of those flowers. All right, let's get to the rest of our assembly of our card. I'm also using some brand new label dies. These are the Nested Essentials dies. So this is the second largest of this one, and then this is the second smallest of this one. But they have really fun shapes. I really love these. They have stitched edges. They're really, really fun. All right, now we are going to just go through and we're just going to trim off these little outside edges. The shape we're going to put on top just barely covers it, and those little points just kind of stick out just a tiny bit, so we just kind of trimmed off those edges just a tiny bit. So we're going to stick this on with dimensionals, and I have some black edges here, and I'm going to go ahead and use those because this is a black cardstock, so we'll stick those down. All right. There we go. We're going to stick this kind of right in the center. All right, now before we get to sticking on anything else, we do need to do our stamping. So grab that white piece that we die cut. And we are going to grab our Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm gonna grab my fresh Freesia pad. And I am using the biggest wish stamp set. This is not new. We've had this one for a while. I love this one though. I love the greetings. I love the fonts. It's definitely one of my favorites. So we're gonna do, it's gonna say hello friend. So we're gonna start with the fresh Freesia. We're gonna start with the friend. I'm gonna stamp that down. So pretty, right? I just love it. I love these purples together. They're so pretty. All right, then we're gonna pull out some gorgeous grape, and we're going to do our hello. And we're gonna just kind of offset that just a little bit, just like that. Hello, friend. Love it. And you can do any of those greetings. I mean, if you need to make a birthday card, a thank you card, whatever you needed to do, you could use any of those greetings. Okay, let's get this down. So we're going to, just a little bit of Stampin' Seal on this one. Bring back our card. This is gonna go right across the middle. And we wanna put this on before we start putting any of our flowers on, just so we kind of have a base of what we're working around. Okay. Let's start with this flower. This is our biggest one. So we want to start with this one. You can use dimensionals to put these on. I am just going to use my liquid glue for most of them just because they already have so much dimension on them. And I wanted to keep this fairly malleable. So we're going to stick that one right below the greeting. And let's see, I'm going to bring in my fresh Freesia flower. I think that's going to coordinate well right next to that gorgeous grape one. And we're just going to kind of tuck it right under. What we're trying to do is make like a cascading effect from the top left to the bottom right. All right, let's do our little tulips here, little stem. So just a little bit of adhesive on the stem, and I am just gonna kind of tuck that under. Just make sure it doesn't go off the top here, and I'm leaving those little tulips not glued down. I want them to pop up. So if you want them glued down, you can absolutely glue them down. Stick a little dot of glue or some glue dots back there. All right, our Highland Heather flower. We're going to just kind of stick on right here. I'm going to tuck it under just a little bit like that. Just make sure none of those petals hang off the edge. And then our white flower is really going to pop right off of that black cardstock, just up here, just like that. Isn't it coming together so pretty? All right, we have lots of leaves, and all we're gonna do, I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue just along the bottom here, and we're just gonna go through and just tuck in leaves just like this. And I have 5 of them total. You can use more or less. That's really up to you. I'm actually gonna stick one down here this time. Let me bring in my finished card so you can see. I keep looking over at mine, but I should have it in view for you too. So I'd love to see what you have planned for these flowers. I have lots more ideas. I cannot wait to use these dies more. This was one of the ones that I just kept thinking about, and when the catalog went live, this was one of the ones I had to have. All right, so we're gonna do one more leaf because I like things in odd numbers. And we'll stick this one, let's go ahead and stick it right up here, like that. So gorgeous. I love them both. So you'll have to tell me which color combination you like. We're not done yet though. Let's go ahead and stick our seeds inside. They'll fit right into that little pocket right there. And then we have some embellishments. So for this card, I used the adhesive back sequin trio, and we're going to use the same one for this one, but I think we're going to go with the white sequins for this one. So I'm just going to use my take your pick tool, and we're just going to put a little smattering of sequins around here, and I'm trying not to put them on the white because they're gonna like blend right in, so I think I'm gonna try to stick them onto things, and I think a couple more. So you know what, maybe we will just put one on the white. I think it'll pop off. I think it'll look great. All right, and one more, I think right here. Perfect. All right, and that completes our card, our little seed gift for our friends. So you can send this to anybody. It's such a cute, beautiful gift. I think anybody would love to get this. All right, guys, I'd love to know which color combination you prefer, the berry bursts or the purples, the fresh freesia. So please let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Do you love these dies? I cannot wait to see what you guys do with them. I can't wait to use them more. If you are shopping my host code or in my online store this month, please use my host code. This is good until May 31st, and then I will have a brand new one for June 1st. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.